right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got News Talk tonight. I'm Dave Moore, and I'm joined in the studio with Jen Just and Brian Parker.
Hello. Can you turn off the studio monitors for me?
Minor details.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm clearly going deaf. These guys can wear these headphones. I can't hear nothing.
Well, you know.
Holy Christmas.
Well, we've got some interesting stuff going on, both locally and nationally.
Today we debate whether or not the chat room is pro or con legitimate rape.
Oh,
There's only two areas we want you to decide. Are you pro legitimate rape? Because that's it. There's only two kind of people in this world.
Just like there's only two kinds of Republicans. But anyways, the
In office ones and not office ones. That's the only kind. There's a lot more of the other ones.
The fun thing that we're having on a local level is that we have a congressional district race that has not yet fully resolved itself.
No.
Are you talking about?
That would be the 5th congressional
Possibly
district.
Be talking about
Yes.
the first.
I would like to officially state that the
no.
the network known as On the Horn, all 4.5 million page views per month, is in full support of the Working Families Party. Go, Chris, go.
No, that's what the Democrats are saying. Go, Chris, go.
They're saying, yeah, get,
No,
Chris,
it
get.
depends on-
It really does
That
depend
was
on who you talk to.
fantastic. Holy
Yeah,
Christmas.
Now,
That was like the best little news. I actually called into TIC this morning when, it was the guy from the CT Mirror was filling in for Jim Vicevich this morning. And I called and I said, there's no way he's actually going to do it. Here's what's happening, guys. He is feeling a little slighted, so he's making this little nothing threat, which apparently the Working Families Party has no choice.
no.
Well,
But,
but
like,
what's
if he wants to
interesting
be on the ticket.
Is it him making the threat, or is it all these liberal people, the folks
No,
way
I think
over
it's
on the
him.
The
left
progressives.
who are oh, is that supposed to be like?
There
Yeah,
we go.
near you.
We got
Hi.
it. That's much better.
Hi. Okay. Hi.
I'm impressed he actually did that before the show ended.
Oh.
But so if Donovan wants to run, he can run. He can stay on the ticket. But here's what I think is happening. He's feeling a little slighted that he got the caucus and not the primary. He's using this as a little wedge like, all right, well, I'm out of work essentially now, so what do you guys got for me in the old Democratic Party? And if you don't, I'm not saying I'm going to run. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything.
No.
I'm just saying, oh, isn't it interesting that I could? Isn't
Right.
that interesting?
It's on the
You guys
table.
got any little job for me somewhere? At
What
the,
is-
It's kind of amazing to me they
DNC?
didn't have a job for him before the primary.
And
happened.
then
To do that would have been insulting.
well, yeah. But now, I
Well,
think what's going to happen
to have
is
had the conversation
gonna-
would have been insulting.
Yes, because that is presaging, hey, by the way, Chris, you could lose. And he was feeling fairly confident that he wasn't going to lose.
Well, there was an
I didn't think
argument
he
on
was
the
going
other
to.
side.
I didn't think he was going
that
to lose. I thought he was
the-
going to do it. I thought
The
he was
party
gonna
would
pull it
have
out.
shown leadership by telling him he should get out before he lost.
Yeah.
Now, what he's really saying right now is
He's saying, is there a job for me? I'm not saying I'm running. I'm just saying, is there a job for me? And if they come back and say, like, no, go pound sand, he'll stay on the ticket. But I don't think he'll stay on the ticket because someone will get in his ear and say, wait, there's a problem. Esty versus Rohraback, the entire state votes for Esty, we think. And I don't think you're going to split the vote enough. And if Esty wins, even though you ran
you're
in the
really
working
dog meat.
you
Yeah,
are
you are
completely done.
dead. That's an
So I
interesting
don't
point.
think you want to do that. So that's what's going to he's not going to run.
What he's really saying,
I can tell you that right now.
What he's saying right now, as we speak, is, honey, will you please pass me the SBF 50?
That's right.
Because
Where is he?
he's vacationing.
I know he's vacationing.
He's on vacation.
Oh, and he should be.
Well,
Running that
yeah.
campaign is ridiculous. That's gotten
Oh, yeah.
silly. Who are we? Ohio all of a sudden? These negative ads? Though I did love the Roberti ad with the smoking briefcase.
Oh my
Did you guys
God,
see that one?
Was crazy.
That was a great ad.
That was
Of course,
crazy.
it was Roberti who was the first one to not only concede, but also say we need to pull behind the victor.
Yeah.
That
Well, he
wasn't
knows, yeah.
that wasn't what was happening. You now have one of the big labor names, John Olson, saying that let's be pragmatic. Let's support the Democratic candidate.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell people who they need to support. But I'm going to suggest
Olson would never do that.
anytime that you hear Olson saying, I'm
Not
going
in
to
so many words.
anytime you hear Olson saying, I'm going to suggest, you know that's the marching orders coming along. Olson, who is going to be going to the national convention, yeah, as apparently are you?
No, I actually turned it down because
You were on the list.
Oh, wow, why not?
But my kid is going to college that first week, and I just didn't want to.
But you know what? It's just a zoo. You know,
It's a
it was
huge
so
party.
fun. 4 years ago,
Really?
it was so fun. It really was fun.
oh, with Obama and such.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Yeah, with Obama and such.
Oh wait, no, 4 years. Yeah, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I have no
No,
idea
that
what
was
year it is.
No, that was.
Hence the sunglasses. But
Yeah, no.
the
I've already explained. I've had some work done. I look like I got in a fight with a baseball bat. So
you and Phyllis Teller. But the thing is,
that's who I went to. I went to her guy,
Oh, wow.
Phyllis, Aunt Flo.
the problem is that the fright wig just won't work for you. The interesting thing is that you have a conundrum, but several easy solutions, and nobody's biting on the easy solutions as of yet.
What's the
because
easy solution to what?
to the situation with Donovan? One of the things was, as you have suggested,
Yeah, give him some job somewhere in the DNC proper, and say, all right, here's a
labor.
paycheck for 3 years, and
we'll see
just
you,
chill.
or a year and a half, and
Yeah.
we'll see you for the next
The
election.
problem though is I didn't get a sense that Donovan is the kind of guy that can work behind the scenes. He's more of a face guy. He's more of a spokesperson, and it's kind of like
he was a union
He
organizer.
was an organizer. I could see him
That's a
going back to
behind the
labor.
scenes guy.
I could totally see him going back to labor.
yeah, no, I
He
guess
would
that's
have
probably
to.
True. Yeah,
In
where else
order-
would he go? You're right.
Other than working for the party, he would have to go to the union, and that, I think, is what you may be hearing as a subtext from John Olson's "We all got to pull together," because he's probably tried to talk to Donovan a couple of times while Donovan's understandably away on vacation. Nonetheless, I'm sure that they have a direct dial.
Yes.
And I'm sure that something is being said. I'm thinking that the now former speaker is going to want to have something that's more political than union. Not because he's anti-union, obviously he's not. But in order to stay sufficiently in the limelight, working with the union isn't going to do that unless you get indicted. And that's not something that he wants to do.
Well, here's the other thing, though. I mean, he may want it, but, they still haven't finished the investigation.
And that may well be the reason why nobody with the Central Committee is saying anything to him until they know that he's got a green light.
Right.
And that we're not going to know probably for another 2 or 3 months. By the way, all of my predictions thus far as that particular investigation are concerned, have somehow come to fruition.
Really?
And I don't think that he's going to get
Trying.
indicted. I honestly don't think that they have enough to be able to tag him with basically selling his influence, his seat, his position. And that is clearly what they were looking for and could not get. Now, there are a number of people, one of whom is a former legislator, who have basically said off the record that that's the way that he operates. He's Teflon in the sense that nothing would ever attach to him directly.
Right.
He just has his
Like you would
henchmen,
need to have for a politician.
or like you'd need to have for a federal indictment. It's not. He's not going to get whacked that way.
Right.
But it's going to take them. It's going to take the federal prosecutors another 2 to 3 months to really wrap that up. And the telltale is the fact that Susie pled guilty the day he was arraigned.
Right.
Okay, that means he's turning evidence. That means that he is going to go after just about everybody in order to save his own skin, because he's already been effectively kicked out of the union. So that's all he's got left. But he's not going to tag Donovan. So
I'd like to know, as far as corruption goes, Connecticut versus, other states. I mean, I don't think we're as bad as, say, Rhode Island.
Or Nevada.
I know nothing about Nevada, but
there's 2 states.
but around here, all right. So great. We're 47.
For 175 years, Albany was considered to be a political cesspool,
right?
And you had to know certain people in order to get certain legislation through. You had to know certain people in order to be elected, and they haven't done a lot to clean up. They've cleaned up the surface,
right?
But the undercurrent is still very strong there, and they haven't been able to get away from that. I don't think that Albany is anywhere as bad as, say, Bridgeport or Waterbury or some of the higher levels.
Waterbury is getting they've made a name for themselves. Bridgeport, I mean, I know there's the whole, what was his name, Ganem,
who's about to get his law license back.
Yeah, well, what about the other guy that was indicted and is running for office? Whatever happened with that one?
He lost.
Right?
He lost?
He did lose.
He lost.
Thank goodness. But then you got guys like down in New Haven with Mayor DeStefano, who admittedly, hey, I don't really like his politics because, he's actually a good Democrat in that, he sticks to his guns, and I know what he's for, and
right.
And so I know why I don't like you. You know what I mean? But I respect him a lot. I think he's he's a good mayor. He's a good mayor.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done a lot for New Haven. And when he retires or whatever happens, at the end of all that, I could, if I ever meet him, say, thank you for your service. I think you did a great job and an honest job.
He's going to run for governor.
But these people are going crazy against, and not Republicans.
No.
Democrats. It's like they're eating like they're a rock star. I'm like, what are you doing? This guy is like your golden child.
You have a split board of aldermen down there.
Yeah.
And they still haven't figured out what they're going to do. They just know that they need to do something.
Right.
Which is really kind of scary because that is the political equivalent of a chicken with its head cut off. It's running around and it's creating a mess. And it's not going to stop for a little while.
Well, they did pretty good during the primary, though. I mean,
they did.
Folks got their people out.
What's going to be interesting, Doug Hardy says, I like chicken.
I like chicken. Speaking of Doug, who's over at CT News Junkie, I was reading a really interesting story from there this weekend. Oh, I went to our site instead of theirs. But it was about the 3 schools that are getting, I can't remember it now because it's not in front of me, but a complete overhaul. And one of them was it Jamoke School or Jamoke School in Hartford?
Yes.
There's another one. No, I can't remember them now. But there was 3 schools, and I remember
one in Waterbury, one in New Haven, and one in Hartford.
And I remember us doing a story about this maybe 2-3 years ago, that those were like the golden schools.
Right. They were being held up as the ultimate.
This is the ultimate one.
Right.
And so I'm saying to myself, why are we screwing with those schools? Or did they just all of a sudden tank beyond belief?
Well,
and I can't believe.
Makeover, not a takeover, right? Takeover? I didn't read the
Not a
story,
takeover.
No.
How come this guy doesn't have his freaking thing here? CT News Junkie. Okay. But it was, oh gosh, let's see if I can find it. Canty, Senator.
Jamoke, I think, is a charter school, isn't it?
I think it is.
Yes.
So
we're talking about at least 2 charter schools that are now having to be revamped.
Interesting.
Analysis.
But not taken over.
Not taken over like
No.
Waterbury was taken over.
Right.
What is today?
Today is the 21st.
Boy, is my watch wrong.
Somebody's been on vacation.
No kidding. 1720. Former Congress.
Okay.
Oh, nuts. All right, well, I can't find it, so.
Op-ed, a strong step forward on school improvement.
Doug just gave the...
Oh, is that it?
That would be it.
Oh, is it behind me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the link to it is.
Yes.
All right. I'll copy and that. Oh, is this an op-ed?
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
It would
nice. Yes, this is exactly who it was. That's right. It was an op-ed, so I shouldn't really
Thanks, Doug.
bash that. But,
Oh, no.
okay, It's
State requests failing school plans from 4 districts.
No,
Oh,
this
here
was
we
the
go.
one. This was the one I was looking
Okay.
at.
That looks like
These turnaround plans introduce much-needed steps to improve student outcome. Really? Okay. Did we have bad student outcome? I thought these were like the schools. All schools. Oh, this is interesting. All schools will extend learning time for both teachers and students and introduce new ways to hire, retain, and assign staff. Okay. That sounds pretty dramatic.
Yeah. What do the unions say?
Yeah, right. In Hartford, is it Jamoke or Jamoki?
Your guess
Okay.
is as good as
I think
mine.
it's Jamoke.
I think it's
Jamoke. Okay. Will increase the school year by 34 instructional days. Well, I don't know what that does. That's actually a lot of days because it's not 7 days a week. It's
Well,
5
I
days
think one
a
of
week.
the theories, kids lose a lot when you go through a whole summer and they just don't retain a lot over
Yeah.
the summer. So one of the thoughts is if you keep them learning through the summer, then they...
And I'm down with that, and I like that strategy, and I understand it. But Norwich, the Stanton Elementary, will be hiring resident teachers who will support master teachers in each grade level. So how many teachers do you have there?
You have
And
2
then
levels.
multiply it by 2. Now,
Yep.
what exactly?
That
Now,
means
there was some number.
that means you would be paying teachers basically 365 days out of the year because they're paid 9 months. Okay?
Right.
So if they're working through the summer, got to pay them through the summer.
Yeah.
I wonder if what they really ought to do is just say, we're going to pay you, twice a month, every month, all year. You don't show up for 2 or 3 months in the summer, but just from a cash flow standpoint, that's easier for the school to manage and be way easier for the teachers to manage.
They have a lot of towns have their budgets set up, their school budgets set up with the 9-month pay.
Yeah, they really ought to
3
do that
month
because
off.
that benefits everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean,
benefits
you,
everybody.
you spread it out. The teachers have a guaranteed income because there's 3 months where they don't have money coming in
Yeah,
unless they're working.
yeah.
Anyways,
And then the town, the municipality is to play the float basically on the money. Not that there's really a lot to make on that, but it just spreads it out easier. It's always easier to do it that way.
Doug was saying he thinks that they already do pay them evenly. Not every town does. I know that there are a bunch of towns in the northern arc of the state that do not.
Yeah, no, I imagine it's different with every town, every city.
Simsbury does not. Coventry does not. Suffield does
How
not.
did you go from Simsbury to Coventry?
Just because I know of these particular school districts.
Okay.
And Avon does not either. In fact, I would venture to say that most of the Farmington Valley does not. Nonetheless.
But the teachers in Avon make bank. I mean, they make, $1.2 million or something like that. Then they all have endorsement deals from the local banks anyway.
That's a beautiful
It's great
thing.
stuff. It's, yeah. In fact, Jim Calhoun, this is breaking news. Can I have the breaking news sounder? Can you give me the breaking news sounder?
Okay, the computer.
Yeah,
is,
yeah, just a little break. This just in, breaking news. Jim Calhoun wants to make more money going to be a teacher at Avon High School. Leaving the University of Connecticut. Getting a big sponsorship from Elmer's Glue.
Yeah.
He's very excited. And the Ticonderoga Pencil Company.
Yeah.
Jim Calhoun.
Just so you know, folks, that was satire.
Yes.
Anyways.
Mars is not invading.
Oh my God. This just in. Hit the sounder. This just in. Mars declares war on Earth. The entire planet has exploded. There are no survivors. This just in. No survivors to Earth's explosion.
Actually, the Martians have taken our machinery hostage.
The rover.
The rovers
Hello.
are now in the crater,
Nice.
and it's
Nice.
it's not going to be pretty.
Nice. It's lovely.
We're going to have to send them $1 billion. Just like Everett Dirksen said, $1 million here, $1 million there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. Yeah. Well, one of the other things that's impacting our state politics is what's been happening on the national politics. As some of you may know, there is a Republican candidate for Senate in Missouri who just won the nomination. And what was even more ironic about this is that guess whose super PAC contributed to his campaign and, in fact, actually ran some ads for Mr. Aiken.
Well, I know Crossroads.
This is the legitimate rape guy.
Claire McCaskill. Actually, because she saw him as the weakest candidate.
Yeah.
The weakest link.
Right.
Guess what? He proved she was right.
Yes, he did.
Because he came out with some very interesting comments about biology and about the concept of, how a woman's biology
It's the
works.
Lord's biology, David. It's the Lord's biology.
Yeah. And it was funny to watch how
Woman
fast
can't get pregnant with legitimate rape these days, don't you know?
Republican candidates were running like rats.
He went from Missouri right there in that voiceover to Maine. Apparently, I don't know what happened there.
The great thing was that Rohrabaugh and McMahon both, pretty much within 2 hours of the comments being aired, said, "No, this is not right. We disavow anything that he says."
I got to tell you, I don't even know if I could do it that quickly because I would just be like I was astonished by that phrase.
The jaw.
How did you even come up with that?
Well, to me, I mean, it's not even the phrase. It's driving me crazy that everyone is focusing on that one thing when the thing that he's talking about, this biology, like, I don't care what kind of rape you're talking about. I mean, women's bodies don't work that way. I mean, we're talking about basic science here.
But I thought you said, I thought you said, I
Well,
thought it was true that a woman has some sort of self-defense internal mechanism. See,
he can't do it first.
You
with
can't
his
even
straight face.
you can't even pretend you're like,
go there.
Really? Like, really?
Now, what is
Did you really think that?
What is also interesting is that one of the Republican members of the Intelligence Committee is Bachmann. But now, trusting her with certain state secrets, really? Was that smart? But we digress.
I mean, one of the fascinating things to me is that apparently a lot of Republicans believe this because apparently one of the reasons that they have said that they want abortions to be illegal in any case is they don't think that women can conceive under those circumstances.
I don't think that. I don't think so. And I think the people that do that don't know how to vote.
No,
so I don't think it matters.
Unfortunately,
one of them is running for the Senate. So
no, but I think he's been taken over by someone because there's no person on the planet that would actually think that.
You think?
Yeah, it can't be
that an alien has taken him over.
I think yes, he has been possessed by something else. Like
he's been possessed.
It's just that unbelievable.
He's been possessed by the Republican plank because the Republicans have been saying for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Some version of this particular thought process. They don't want to give any reason.
When you say Republicans, are you referring to me?
I'm referring to the National Republicans.
Right. We're not talking about Connecticut Republicans.
So when did Mitt Romney say that? Because he'd be a pretty big time national Republican right now.
The Republican Party has just
How about
passed,
Mr. Boehner?
The Republican Party has just passed as its plank, its formal position that there should be an amendment banning abortion with no exception.
Okay, that's fine, but it doesn't get to your point, which is there are really, really important people, other than this Aikens guy who obviously has been possessed by an alien. There are no other Republicans in public office that are saying that.
That's
not true.
Who? Name the person.
There are certain Republican
congressmen
not certain. From Texas.
And what's his name?
I can't think of their names right now.
You can look it up because there was a piece on NPR yesterday that said that this theory has been going around for years.
The theory was actually advanced in the late 1980s, and it was advanced by a pseudo doctor who then came out as a supporter for one of the main anti-abortion organizations. Okay, and it was adopted by the anti-abortion organization. This was something that was on MSNBC last night.
So, I mean, if you can't think of this guy's name, I think you're disqualifying him as like a real Republican, right?
That's not fair.
No.
Just because we can't name them doesn't mean,
The point is that the Republican National Party has run as its main plank.
Yeah.
Texas Republicans condemn Aiken. That's the first story I see about Texas and Aiken together.
I would put in their theory about
the legitimate rape theory.
WFAA.com, Dallas, Fort Worth.
The thing is that there have been a number of Republican candidates who have stated over the years, and we're talking about starting basically the mid-1990s, after this pseudo-doctor's comment about how biologically it was possible to fight off pregnancy in a rape victim.
Ted Cruz? Is that who you're thinking of?
Yes, that definitely is a name that I remember from last night's MSNBC. Both Rachel Maddow and The Last Word were running stories as far as how this has been a basic Republican tenet, and the reason why a lot of the mainstream Republican names right now are so pissed off at Aiken is that he's been basically airing out the very thing that they have been basically supporting.
Yeah. So Ted Cruz says this. Well, clearly what he said was outrageous. It is indefensible. Frankly, it is nonsensical.
Depends on which, because the thing is, even Aiken is only regretting the words he's used.
I used the wrong words.
He's not regretting the concept that he's talking about.
And the concept is basically about how a woman is somehow going to be able to control how her body reacts.
Apparently fear hormones
It's just such a bizarre
conception impossible.
No, baby, no, baby, no.
But no, my understanding.
Stress. It's a response to stress.
Right.
Is the medical
nonsense?
Right.
It's absolutely nonsense. But I know. I mean, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that I heard that the reason that some Republicans favor a total ban on abortion in all cases is because it doesn't matter if you ban it in cases of rape, because the stress hormones will prevent her from getting pregnant anyway.
And
so
Aiken
there aren't a lot of women who get pregnant by
Aiken
rape,
went on to say that, you should punish the rapist, you shouldn't punish the child. Okay.
I shouldn't even laugh. It's just...
What about the woman? What about the victim of this horrendous assault? Nothing is being said by those of Aiken's stripe.
The fact that he could even use the term legitimate rape suggests that he doesn't even necessarily think of women.
As Doug Hardy has chatted, think we have problems with politicians in Connecticut, just be happy that crackpot isn't here.
Yes.
Yeah. He wouldn't survive here.
Oh, no.
I can barely survive here. And by the way, for all of you all out there, because these people have already heard it and I don't care what they think. By the way, the issue of abortion, a woman's right to choose is a conservative standpoint.
Yes.
I know, folks. I know it's shocking. But the conservative mantra of get the out of my bedroom, okay, prevents us from having a comment on it.
It is a libertarian.
No, libertarian is like this is all like, ooh, let's go to Starbucks and be libertarians. It's so gay. I hate libertarians. I'm a libertarian.
Oh, my
well, you
friend
know what?
David
Grow a pair.
So disagree.
Pick a side.
Oh my.
I hate libertarians.
Well,
I like the basic tenets of it.
Right.
But I don't like it when people...
You don't like the personages who have been populating that particular brand.
They are the I've had too many Chardonnays and sun-dried tomatoes party. That's their political group.
Just too much tannin in their bloodstream.
It's just it's so trendy to call yourself... But you know what? Maybe I should retract that, because you know why they're doing it is because they hear conservative equals... crazy viewpoints. Conservative equals, sometimes there's legitimate rape or non-legitimate rape, whatever the hell that means. And so they identify with that, much like I have. I kind of espouse it to Republican, and so they're looking for something else. Tea Party, yeah, let me grab at it. Libertarian, yeah, let me grab at it. And really, no one really beats up on the libertarians, probably because they're so tiny. No one cares. Like, not worth our effort. Yeah, go ahead, go crazy.
They were like the Tea Party just the Tea Party's become a little more popular and populated. Well,
Tea Party was interesting until Sarah Palin. And then it got like, oh, forget it. Like, God, we had a beautiful load of white underwear going, and then Sarah Palin came in and threw it in a red sock.
Yeah, made it all pink.
Okay.
It was bad.
Well, we are going to come back in a couple minutes. We're going to pay some bills, and basically, one of the things that we're going to be talking about is the tone of campaigning as far as the Senate race, how it got ugly really fast, pretty much before the confetti had stopped falling. But right now, we're going to be paying some bills, and I'll see you shortly.
Budwitz and Meyer Jack PC is a large Connecticut-based CPA firm with offices in Cheshire and Farmington, Connecticut. Large enough to handle engagements of enterprises with annual revenues in excess of $100 million, yet small enough to cater to smaller businesses and individual clients who expect personalized attention from partners and staff. Client service is the cornerstone of our practice. Our clients have a fixed fee for their audit and tax work. What this means to the client is we're approachable. Personal communication and client services make for strong relationships. Budwitz and Meyer Jack, certified public accountants.
Sandits Travel for business and leisure. We'll take you there. Sandits Travel has been proudly serving Connecticut since 1960. That's over 50 years. And we're ready for another 50 years of superior service. Whether you prefer to come in, call in, or log on, we invite you to explore how efficient, diverse, and fun it is to book through Sandits Travel. Save your money and your time with us. Sandits Travel. We'll take you there.
And we're also brought to you by Deepwater Seafood of Avon. Have you been to the only fish market in Farmington Valley? Deepwater is located on Route 44 and is open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. One of the best things about Deepwater is their fish are fresh. 3, count them, 3 deliveries daily to meet your needs. That means that the delivery that's coming in at 4 o'clock was swimming when they opened up. Deepwater has a menu of grilled fish, items, scampi, fish and chips, soups, bisques, and chowders, and for your catering needs, authentic paella. A paella for 12, oh my God, it's awesome. They also have the traditional New England clam bake and cedar plank salmon sides. Deepwater also has the very best, and I mean awesome, shrimp cocktail that you'll find anywhere. You can call in your order at 860-676-9657, and they'll have your order ready for pickup when you arrive. Deepwater Seafood of Avon, not just for the halibut. Okay, we've done paying bills.
Yes.
And
now I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
Every time.
Sorry.
We should have like a.
You know, a little food, something to nosh on. Is that what you're talking about? All right, I'll have to talk to the boss. All right, yeah, okay. We'll try to have some shrimp next week. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not going to be here next week.
Actually, you know what? I changed call time to Monday.
Excellent. All right, we'll have some shrimp for you next week. So, the confetti barely finished falling to the floor. And in fact, one could argue even before the results were even known, it was getting ugly fast.
Oh, yeah.
Referring specifically to the McMahon ads against Chris. And then Chris responded. And, you know, it's one of those things politically, you got to have punch, you got to have counterpunch. And it was surprising to me how negative, how fast.
Really? I was not surprised for some reason.
Well, for one thing, by all means. The thing for gotta get the right mic. There you go. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Our friend Chris Didden is joining in.
Well, I had to. I mean, you're talking about some great ads going on here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you had what I call the absentee ad. That would be Linda McMahon's against.
And did you read the Hartford Courant this morning?
Yes, I did.
Who actually gave it a
generally
an acceptable ad to run?
Except for they did point out a couple of things that were generally and or specifically misleading. And it wasn't until the very end of the ad that they let out a couple of zingers that could not be supported by fact. And, we're paying him $170,000 to not do his job. Well, when Chris's counter was, hey, I've got a 97% voting record, which means that he was there for the crucial points in time, arguably. Now, some could also argue...
but hang on a second
yes.
there. Let me do the counterpoint just because I like doing counterpoint here.
Oh, you're a devil.
Oh, this is good fun. If you're
Chris can't be seen, so
can't be seen, so I'll pull this one over here. There we go.
There we go.
All right. So if I've hired you as a lawyer for me, right?
Yeah.
And I come and give you my case and so forth and so on. You take the case. We're supposed to go over it 20 times, discuss the merits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You don't show up except for you show up for the trial.
Yeah.
You walk in, you do the trial. Hey, I showed up for the trial.
Yeah. This is a little different. One of the meetings that Chris...
Oh, I understand. They weren't exactly in the house and all that kind of stuff. I understand.
One of the meetings that Chris missed was about something that was happening in Kentucky. Okay.
Right, but how many people get porked through the committees by doing that?
But that's why they have staff, because it's the staff.
You send the staffers.
It's the staff that informs them of the salient points of, oh, by the way, you've got pork coming in from Kentucky. You might want to watch out for that. Or here, Congressman, the Lehman Brothers, yeah, they went bankrupt and they basically lied about it. That's what came out of the hearing about the Lehman Brothers. Did it have anything to do with the vote that he needed to take? Tangentially, yes. But was it going to change his vote? No, because he already knew what he needed to do as far as voting both in the subcommittee as well as the committee.
Okay, so you're saying
it's different than a lawyer working with the client, preparing for trial, and then attending trial.
It's really different because you do have staff, and one of the staff's job is to make sure that that he's making the best use of his time.
Absolutely. So what you're saying to me, and your point is, and your hang on here is, that you're allowed to miss whatever the meetings are.
Mm-hmm.
How many? What is it? How many percentage did they say?
78.7%.
You're allowed to miss 78.7% of the meetings that you got put on the committee for by the leadership that said, we're going to give you this committee. We want you there, and we want to get your opinion in there.
Oh, that's not what they're saying.
No, that's what you're saying.
They appoint them to the committee, but they are not appointing them to the committee so that they make every blessed hearing.
I understand that.
In fact, because
so how many missings are acceptable?
Well, I don't know enough about what all those meetings were to say which ones are acceptable.
I do.
Which ones aren't.
And a lot depends on whether or not you're a more senior member or not.
Yep.
Murphy's a backbencher. He's not going to have a whole lot to add as far as the only thing that he's got of value at this point is a vote. That's it.
So then why promote him?
Why promote him?
If he's, I'm being the devil's advocate now. I'm not taking sides. All I'm doing is being the devil's.
Because he knows the system. Because he understands how the system works.
Really?
Linda McMahon has
clue.
You
just told me he's a backbencher that, just has a vote and, he gets the vote.
Ad proves that she has no idea what she's talking about.
Oh, no. Her ad proves that she's got a great company behind her pulling some PR strings and making those statements that are generally accepted as accurate.
No. The two things that they were pointing out specifically as being inaccurate and even misleading was we're paying him $170,000 for not showing up.
Yep.
That's not true. We're paying him $170,000 a year to work with the constituents, to talk to the clients. We're paying him $170,000 a year to show up for votes and actually be counted.
To represent us.
To represent the constituency.
However
That's what he's being paid for.
So then Chris Murphy should have come back with this is why I didn't attend these meetings, and I had my staffers there. He did not come back with, I had my staffers at this. He did not come back with, this is why I didn't attend these meetings. He did not defend himself in any shape, form, or manner.
That's not true.
What he did was come back on the attack.
No, his campaign came back with statements about,
oh, there was only 278 meetings, not 312.
Mr. Murphy, Mr. Murphy was in Connecticut talking to his constituents.
Oh, no. They said that they couldn't pinpoint those meetings and those dates.
No.
Yeah.
What the campaign actually came out with was during half the time period that McMahon was complaining about him not attending, he was actually in Connecticut meeting with constituents. That is what the campaign actually came out with. Okay?
So he came back to Connecticut to meet with constituents.
Because it was during a time
So he didn't
period,
spend any time with his family, or he didn't spend any time hanging out. He was in his office from 9 to 5, doing and meeting constituents.
No, they don't have a 9 to 5 in Connecticut. Even if they have an office here in
I love
Connecticut,
being the
which
devil's
most
advocate.
of them do, it ain't a 9 to 5. They're going to Goshen to visit with the local town committee. They're going to Lebanon to talk about what might be happening to the dam, because the Farmington River Valley is actually going to be designated a
Yeah, it's one of those things.
There was a designation in particular.
But hang on a second. So how many of those constituent meetings did he have were actual fundraisers? How many times did he have these meetings and there was actually he was raising money versus actually meeting constituents? How many meetings were a dual purpose?
Couldn't tell you that.
Well, because I would imagine at least half of them, because he needs to raise X amount of money in order to stay in his office every day.
Every single congressperson does.
Absolutely.
What is wrong with the system?
Absolutely. But I'm not saying, if we're looking for facts, total facts, then all the facts should be bared.
Right.
And you really think his campaign would actually put that?
Oh, absolutely. They would not put out that statement because then they'd get crushed.
Right.
But the insinuation that McMahon is putting out is also incorrect and should be taken
It's not
to
incorrect.
task.
It is generally factually correct.
I'm not saying that the ad itself is generally incorrect.
Correct.
I'm saying that the insinuation that she is putting in, particularly at the very end of the ad, is incorrect.
Which insinuation is that?
That he's not doing his job.
Well, how do we know he's not doing his job, or if he's doing his job, he's not showing
up
to work?
He's doing his job when
he's not showing up to work.
We know he's doing
his constituents.
We know he's doing his job when he's
voting. How do we know that he's representing his constituents and not doing fundraisers when he's home?
Because he's voting 97% of the times that they're having votes.
Let's find out how many. Let's put it out there to his campaign and find out how many of those days that he was absent for those committee meetings and he was back in Connecticut did he hold fundraisers.
And how many times was he actually there to vote? 97% of the time. That
I
means
can show up to vote for anything too.
But that's
I'm on several boards. If I just show up to the
paid
board
for.
meetings, what good is that?
My point is,
I get emails telling me all about what the boards do or what the companies are doing. But when I show up to a board meeting and I just show up for a board meeting and a board vote,
my point
that's my thing. Okay, I vote now.
Do you know who can tell you how good a job he's doing is his constituents, and they have voted him back time and again. They are happy with the way they're being represented.
3 terms.
Then why is he feeling threatened by McMahon?
Because she's got
beating up on him.
Gobs and gobs.
She's beating up on him?
No, it's
Are
because
you serious, John?
It's because she spent $13 million on a primary, and she's already spent $50 million on a failed Senate bid, and she's going to spend another $50 million.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
No, she has outright said, "I will spend whatever it takes." She has indicated.
Well, what she said was that I will be not beholden to any what do you call them, special interests and so forth and so on. I will not take money
Spending limits.
I will not take any money from Wall Street and those guys and this and that and all that kind of stuff.
She doesn't need to. She's got bank already. She's made bank long ago.
So obviously she's good in business.
No, she's good at sex, sleaze, and otherwise promoting wonderful things called the World Wrestling Entertainment Program.
Yeah, but wouldn't what you just said, wouldn't that fit into a number of professions, i.e. lawyers, lobbyists, whatever you want to call it? Didn't you just group,
No, I didn't.
Well, you said sex, sleaze, and what was the third one?
Yeah.
Well,
sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Okay, good. And most lawyers and lobbyists are all jumbled into that little idiom there.
I
They
resemble
don't end
that.
up having major brain damage and killing themselves and others, by and large.
And, the one thing that I know is waiting in the wings for Linda was an ad that came out at the end of Blumenthal's campaign.
Mm-hmm.
That was the ad where Linda's in the ring. She grabs a guy by the back
kicks
of his
him in
head and knees him in the nuts, and you see him fall, and that's all they need to show.
You know what?
Because
Maybe they should do a caricature of her doing that with Chris Murphy.
They may well.
Who knows?
Anything
could happen.
I'm sorry. I'm jumping in just to be devil's advocate because I think it's important that not just one opinion gets, heard.
Yes.
All opinions get heard, and people need two sides for every story.
By the way, Doug Hardy has added in just a suggestion. There's a difference between hearings and committee meetings, but bottom line is that Chris was convinced by the McMahon commercial. I believe he meant convicted by the McMahon commercial. And then he adds, Murphy's campaign is in disarray. Interesting observation from a news type who is fairly well connected with other news types.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with Doug Hardy's assessment that the campaign is in disarray. What I will say is they are running scared because of the money. Because
I don't think it's just the money.
Oh, no, it is the money.
Have you ever met Linda? Have you ever met Chris?
Yes, I have met
Linda.
Chris.
I've met both of them.
I've met both of them, too. She's dynamic in her own little way. And I got to tell you.
She'll come across as a very kindly, grandmotherly type.
Yep.
Well, I got to tell you, I'll say a quick story and then I'll get off and not be I was at a fundraiser for her about the last run around. And I brought my son who's special needs and so forth and so on. She went around the room. The room was packed, everything else. And she went around and shook everybody's hand. She shook my son's hand and she walked away. And my son very quietly whispered, "Wow, she has nice hair." Okay. Now, she was a good 5 feet away, probably to me to you, Dave. She heard it. She stopped. She turned around, and she sat down and talked to him for about 5-6 minutes.
Wow.
That proved a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's and here's a bunch of people around that are paying X amount of dollars to come to a fundraiser to see her, and she stopped and started talking to him.
Yep.
I mean, that was huge because he didn't put any money into that fundraiser.
Right.
He wasn't there for anything. She was talking to him about what he was thinking and stuff. And, he's talking about jet planes and stuff like that. And she was taking time out of her schedule to talk to him.
Yep.
So I got to give her kudos for that.
She is an adept politician.
She's an adept person, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with Chris. She's an adept person. She hasn't proven to be an adept politician.
Yeah, because she's not a politician yet.
Right.
She hasn't been elected yet.
I think she's very she portrays genuineness.
Yes.
That I'm not sure I haven't spent enough time with her to know whether that's either real or not real.
Well, but you had a moment that spoke to you.
We had a moment that spoke to us and a lot of other constituents that were paying to be at that fundraiser, she didn't get a chance to talk to because she's talked to my son.
Right.
So that spoke volumes to me.
It's
Yeah.
a quality move.
That spoke volumes. All right, I'll get off your guys here. I apologize,
that's,
but
that's okay because we've pretty much run out.
Oh Lord, it was good fun though, wasn't it?
It was definitely good fun. I guess we'll do this. There we go.
Thank you, guys.
You've been listening to News Talk tonight. Thank you, Chris Didden. Thank you, Jen. We will be seeing you next week.
Yes.
Excellent. I'll make sure that we have some shrimp, not necessarily on the Barbie. And that way, when we run the deep water again, you don't go away hungry. Yeah. And hopefully you guys listening tonight won't go away hungry either. We want you back next week. It's only going to get better. Politics in Connecticut, it's like a fine wine. It just gets better and better. You've been listening to News Talk tonight on onthehorn.com. You can listen to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. We'll be back next week. Have a great time, guys.
You should tell